Live today. Now, as the people start streaming in and the ideas start flowing and the Red Bull gets popped, we're going to have a good time today. I've got a hall pass from the wife to be here live with you today. Now, this morning was the debut episode, my first interview on my channel with my good friend, Roger Carter. Now, Roger is an amazing drummer who has played with John Five and Rick Springfield and John Waite and Lita Ford and Berlin, and an amazing bunch of players. And if you have not checked out that interview, it debuted this morning on my channel. It's my interview with Roger Carter. Check that out today. It's an hour long, in depth, with all kinds of nuggets inside the music business, knowing how much people get paid, how you got the gig, all these things. Dean, what's happening, brother? Thank you. You are the first one here. Oh, we've got 9 in here. We're already starting to get it flowing and get it going. And just to start it off today, to get us fired up, what's happening, Music Man? Glad to have you here. We're going to give a little woo to get us started. Good afternoon from the mighty ATL. Dwayne, I'm glad to have you here. Jerry, what's happening, brother? The Hermit. How you doing? Dude. Ben, what's happening, brother? Hey. Peace and love to everyone. We are glad to have you here in this eclectic channel about music, guitars, and truth. It really doesn't matter what we talk about here. It's going to be real. It's going to be unscripted. And it's going to feature you, because your comments and your questions are what create this moment in time, and it will be preserved in the chat for eternity, or as long as the computers. Good day to you, Combat Sports Media. We are glad to have you here. Buckseed, Mike from Portland, thank you for being here. Tim Hardiman, what's happening, brother? How you doing, sir? Yes, indeed. We are glad to have all of you here. Like I was saying earlier, this incredible interview this morning on my channel with Roger Carter, drummer for all these amazing artists, and he started playing the Sunset Strip at 15 years old. I think you need to get out a guitar and play us something. Well, sir, I don't know. Maybe I will, sir. Maybe I will. But allow a man to open up a cold can of refreshments, sir. Please allow me this. Thank you, Dwayne. Yeah, man. I wouldn't call that even really an interview, but more a conversation with a friend. And I didn't have any questions planned ahead of time. I just, we hit the Zoom. Now, like I had told people before, I had done that. Salute, Big D. I'm glad to have you here, sir. I told people before this that we had taped a whole nother, or thought I had taped a whole nother interview that was an hour and a half long. And it was not the same interview. This was a totally different. What is up, Chris? Thank you. Yeah, people are really enjoying that interview this morning. And man, it is a treasure trove of information if you want to know how to audition for these gigs. If you want to know, what you need to play on these gigs. I mean, how about getting the gig with Rick Springfield and not even learning the tunes? Now that is a move. That is a move that I've never heard somebody do that before. Normally you would learn the songs and you come in and you'd have everything mapped out and you come in and play. And he just went, "Hi, I'm so-and-so," and I blew off the audition because I got other stuff going on. But Rick Springfield goes, "Come on in and play." I didn't learn the songs. Don't worry about it. And he just went in there and did his thing. He is very underrated guitarist, an amazing performer. But Roger just went in there and played, and they gave him the gig. Have you seen any of Tim Avon's video? He's a current Nashville Sun guy. I have watched Tim Avon a lot. And yeah, he's got a great channel and great information, giving you a lot of the view that I would have probably given you if I'd have been able to do this while I was on the road. But you know, cell phones weren't as good a way to capture things, you know, back then. And I didn't think of this till now. But Tim's experience is from young eyes, and my experience is from old eyes. So we have two different perspectives, and they're both very valid. So I'm going to take the first sip. Now, I know people have said, you know, take it easy on the Red Bull. It is neat to hear your experience and see what he is going through now. Dude, I sometimes that Chris, you've nailed it on the head. I can watch his channel, but sometimes I just can't watch it because it brings back too many memories. And, you know, some positive memories and some not so positive memories. He had a video, I saw the headline was, Amp dies on the first song. I think he was doing a fly date. So, you know, yeah, been there, had the gear break. It sucks. I couldn't click on the video, but I knew exactly what he was going through. I knew exactly. Now, somebody said, what did they say? Rick Springfield has about 4 hits. The rest of the gig are sings only 6 per year. Yeah. Thank you, Windbringer. Thank you. Your hair is great. No wig trolls. Thank you. I appreciate it. Don Costa's sister is here. We're always glad to have her here. You know, kudos and rest in peace to Don Costa. And yeah, man, you know, doing that interview, it was a conversation with a friend. That's really what it is. And I'm going to try to do all of my interviews like that. I know you're supposed to write down your questions beforehand and all that, but man, I've always been a guy that's able to, you know, thank you, Windbringer. Thank you so much. Yeah, Phoenix, what's happening? How's everybody doing? We're having a little caffeinated conversation here. I'll take the first sip of the Red Bull. Now, somebody commented on the last live. They said, there's no way you could get that much energy from a Red Bull. And yes, I'm afraid to tell you that it's just Red Bull, bro. I am naturally a fired up. When when the stage lights come on and when it's time to go, I am fired up and I am ready to go. So I haven't even had my first sip of this today, and I am already, I'm already fired up with you here today. We got 48 people in here. How about that? This was not planned. I woke up this morning. My wife was at the gym. I said, hey, I'd like to go live today. If you can give me an hour to just, you know, do my thing. And they might pop in here in a little bit. But we're just going to have some fun. Ric Flair, woo, woo. And I love the Jay Lethal and Ric Flair, the battle that they did where they both did a woo off. And man, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. Woo! Absolutely, absolutely delicious. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. So now, what do we want to talk about today? What do we want to get into? Leaving the live to check out that interview. I was looking forward to it. Hey, man, go check out the interview and come back and watch the live later. You know, we're gonna keep it rolling either way, or watch the live and check out the interview later. Styling and profiling, Rolex wearing, yes indeed, kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing. Woo! We are having a good time. People are gonna say, there's no way that Red Bull makes him do that. Did you know Billy Morris from Warrant, Quiet Riot? Billy Morris, he filled in for, what's that guitar player? Yeah, he was one of the guitar players in Warrant, right? And I did I did kind of know the Warrant guys. I will get to that, mailman. I will get to that. Yo, Vance, what's happening? Cavazo, yeah. Um, Billy Morris, yes. I knew the guys in Warrant back in the day, but it didn't. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. I did, hang out with Eric a little bit. I think that's the only one I really hung out with. And it was more like, see him in the club, he's by himself. I'm there with, a couple of chicks. And I'm like, hey, Eric, let's hang out, and then the girls are excited because they're hanging with the guy from Warrant. And, the band that I was in, before I joined the band, they used to open for Warrant at this big metal club in the Valley called the Country Club. So those guys, they had done all that before I joined the band. So, and then Warrant gets signed and, blew up, and the rest is history. But Billy, Warrant had come to Nashville at some point. This was maybe 20 years ago. And my friend Dave Marshall, who played with Vince Neil, he was still friends with those guys. Like, had kept in touch with them. So we got passes to go see Warrant, and we got to hang out on the bus a little bit afterwards, and Billy was there. But, I was kind of out of my element at that point in time. I was no longer a Sunset Strip guitar player. I was a Nashville guitar player. So let's see what we got. Harl St. Gelas. Hello, BadBrad. Love your channel. I'm a trucker. On day off today. Got my Fender Strat, my Boss practice amp. Awesome. Getting loaded at Tyson over here in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Yes, indeed, sir. I salute you. Appreciate you for your service. Without the truck drivers of this nation, we would not have anything. So I salute you, sir. May you play that guitar with great aplomb today, with a bombastic approach. Yes, indeed. We salute you. Thank you so much. Now, we've got 48 people. Let's get the likes up. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do. We're taking a little sip. Make us say, woo! All right. So, yes, please, everybody, check out that interview. If you're a drummer, man, cheers from California. Daryl, enjoying the show on the front porch. Man, it don't get no better than that. The cool thing about watching stuff on YouTube and these lives now is it's interactive. You are now part of the show. Radio Chaos, hey Brad, saw the interview. Great job. Thank you. Yes, rest in peace to Jenny Lane. Likes for woo! I'm on the back porch. Right on, Mike. Mike is a great guitar player himself. And if you have not checked out the Breakfast Club, and what is the Breakfast Club? Every morning, I put out a new video at 8 a.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. And we've got a little good group of guys that get up in the morning. We have our coffee and the video plays, and we chat and talk about the video and talk about, hey, guys that played gigs the night before. Did Southern rock inspire you or straight up rock? Come on, Mia.
I want to be live.
You want to be live?
Yeah.
Look at this little thing. Look at this little thing. Say, Mia, can you go, woo? She's got her MTV shirt, but they can't see the MTV shirt. Can you stand up? Woo!
She said she wanted to go live.
All right. Go to the playground. So, yeah. Hey, brother, here with coffee. Thank you, Eric. Thank you so much. Hi from Birmingham. So, it just got real. Yeah, things just got real, right? Woo! So people ask, why am I whispering on my videos? That's one of the main reasons. She's getting big. Yes, she is. She is indeed, Tim. Dude, so Mia has figured out how to use my Xbox. And she was playing Ninja Turtles on the Xbox, and she was kicking butt at 3 years old. Good morning, Jimmy. You said the other day and spoke of your hairstylist. I know the blind sell light bulbs. Did know they doing haircuts? Just kidding. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Jimmy. Yes, my hair has been a constant topic of treachery and loathing, self-loathing, and loathing, and it just is. You think she's gonna want to learn guitar? I hope so, because Tim, I hope she does want to learn guitar because that's what we have here. So if she's said, "Oh, I want to play drums," and my wife's like, "No, we have guitars here. If you want to learn something, play guitar." Just got dragged around the hood by my Rhodesian Ridgeback and Plot Hound Jacks. Such a lover. All right, Rob, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're keeping this channel going. You're keeping the wife from getting angry at me and saying, "What are you doing?" Thank you so much. Much appreciated. All your donations help me keep this going. So thank you so much. You should do a few videos on how you went from a touring player to domesticated husband. Woo! Well, I initially, when I was getting this channel started, I did my videos called Old Dad. And it shows me 1 minute, on stage acting like a complete lunatic. And then the next minute pushing a stroller down the street. And it's funny because I met my wife, in Florida on a gig. And I was just this crazy. I had a long hair, I had a black beard, and I was probably, 40 pounds heavier. I'm not really that domesticated, but I've always been, people have said I was always the most punctual, the most responsible mess they ever knew. So if you need me to do something, I'm gonna show up no matter what, and I'm gonna be ready to do the work. So, but yeah, when I met my wife, I was chugging whiskey straight out of the bottle. Here, you want some? And playing gigs and acting like a lunatic and yeah, beautiful disaster of some sorts. But now we're here. Have you watched The Decline of West Part 2, which documents the sun? Yes, absolutely, Rob. Jerry, thank you so much, sir. Thank you. That is incredible. Thank you. We used to do Red Bull with a shot of vodka back in the day. Yeah, I remember discovering Red Bull and just thought it was the greatest invention known to man because, unfortunately, when you're a drinker, and I was at one time, the Red Bull, it was like, oh wow, it's like I can have a shot of espresso while I'm drinking. Now I don't recommend combining those two things. I want to thank both people for the super thanks. I'm unable to, hit the likes and all that stuff, but man, it is much appreciated keeping this channel going. We're rocking and rolling. You guys now are part of history, helping this channel continue onward. And I'm going to give you both a big woo. That's 2 woos. Woo. Thank you. So I just heard Mia in the other room when she heard me go, woo, she goes, Dad? When I worked on cruise ships, everybody was drinking vodka and Red Bull. Yeah, you're more than welcome. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. Thank you, brother. A double whoop for the 2 donations to the channel. You guys keep me going. So funny, one night I would get off the stage screaming, fans, photos, autographs, meet and greets, you know the drill. Next day at home, don't forget to take out the garbage. Ain't that the truth? Jimmy Smith, thank you so much. Thank you. It is so much appreciated. Thank you, sir. I'm going to give you a woo to Jimmy Smith. Thank you, sir. Very much appreciated. But yeah, you check out the video Old Dad. I think there's 3 episodes, and it talks about going from Sunset Strip. It kind of documents my whole career, and then becoming a domesticated dad at a very old age, which I am right now. It is a challenge. It's much harder than learning 40 songs the night before a gig. It's much harder. Foghorn has crept into it just a little bit, sir. Yes, indeed, sir, Mike. He'll probably come out more as the Red Bull flows freely, sir. Yes, indeed, sir. So, yeah, I mean, to go from, first of all, being on the road it's like it's a traveling circus. It is a traveling circus, and there are rules, but there's also no rules. As long as you don't get caught, uh, as long as nobody notices what you're doing. Big P, Dean, thank you so much. We're going to give you a big, what band do you like no one would think of? First of all, Dean, woo! What band would I like that people wouldn't think of? How about, and it might be one song, Scritty Politti, right? One song though. Perfect Way, that is a jam. Whatever they did, the MIDI and the production and the keyboards and all that, I don't think there may be some Paul Jackson Jr. style guitar in that, but man, it's a keyboard fiesta. I like that song. I also like Don't Disturb This Groove. Now, what was the name of that group? It was an R&B song, and man, I just think that track is killer. I like a lot of different music. I go through my metal phases, and I go through my R&B phases, and I go through my Steely Dan phases, and then I want to pull out woo woo. Yes, indeed, Big P. I like music, man. And look, it doesn't always have to be the system. Yes, Dwayne, dude, that's a jam, right? Am I not? I mean, dude, I actually on one of the system did that song. Yes, I actually tried to get one of my bands, my corporate wedding bands, just in sound check. I said, dude, I figured it out. Of course, I've forgotten the changes now, but I was like, man, let's play this. And I was trying to teach the bass player the bass notes. It's all keyboard bass, so he was like trying to struggle. But that is a jam. Yes, indeed. That is a serious jam. 40 songs overnight. Wow, that's amazing. Had to learn 40 songs in a week and had a hard time. Yeah, it is a badass smooth song, dude. I love that. And just like the Scritty Politti song, Perfect Way, dude, listen to the production on that. Funny domesticated guitar story. One of my surgery trainees used to be a metal guitarist who was good enough to audition for Poison. Is now a bariatric surgeon. Joined CC when he was in rehab. We all got to do what we got to do to keep on keeping on. You know what I'm saying? But somebody had said before, 1 minute you got screaming fans and you're signing autographs, and then you get home and it's like, take out the trash. The grass needs to be mowed. All of those normal things. Did you ever meet John Prine in Nashville? No, I did not. But what's the guy that wrote the Smashing Up Perfectly Good Guitars? What was that guy's name? Is that John Hyatt? I did do a gig at the Tennessee Capitol in Nashville, and John Hyatt was like the special guest, and like he didn't play with the whole band, but he did a song with our keyboard player. But no, I never got to meet John Prine. I was always kind of a little too wild for guys like that. Did you ever see George Benson play when you were in Southern California? Man, I wish. And when I was in Nashville, this last year, he played at the Ryman. Having a small child and stuff, I didn't go, and I really should go because he is one of my all-time favorites. If you could say, play like one guy right now, you could snap your fingers, and I could play everything, all those killer licks that George Benson plays. That's what I'd probably choose to do, because that is, I try to play things that I think sound like George Benson, and I try to hear kind of what he's doing and try to pick up things. But, trying to learn a transcription and do all that, man, I've never taken a deep dive. But I used to play Breezin' all the time in Nashville. That was like, that was the tune I played. Rex Brown rode in my truck in 2009. Well, right on. He seems like a cool dude, right? Pantera, rockin' band, right? So, Sarge George Benson a couple times at the Jazz Workshop in Boston. Man, I love the way he plays, dude. I love George Benson. And, something that Windbringer, thank you so much. Woo! It is so much appreciated. It is so much appreciated, you guys. George is at another level. Yeah, George Benson, way too advanced for my knowledge and capability. Well, Amos, the cool thing about George Benson is his playing is always rooted in the blues. And there are things that you can pick up without having to get into the jazz harmony and having to get too advanced. So, just adding some chromaticism to your blues playing is something that George Benson does, and just mixing major and minor. And George is a master of that. So Breezin' was really done by Gabriel Szabo and written by Bobby Womack. Underrated guitar player. I need to go back and hear the original version of that. So yeah, that is my take on that. He did an interview with Rick Beat. Yeah, I watched that. I loved the part where Rick played him some clips of Benson playing and Benson reacting to his own playing. The dude played stuff. I had a bootleg for a while where it was just somebody who had recorded Benson in a club in the 70s, just a small club. And Benson playing, he was playing Georgia on My Mind. And man, he took a chord solo and it was incredible. It's just some bootleg, just something I got when I was at MIT. It was mind blowing. I wish I wish I knew where that cassette was, and I'd get it transferred to digital and post it on YouTube. Yeah, and see, some people look down on George for singing, and I don't. The guy is smart, man. He started out his career singing. He was Little Georgie, Little George Benson. The guy is hefty. He had to work with. Yeah, you got to be the best of the best to work with George Benson. I noticed. Seems like he's always changing drummers, but his bass player's been with him for years. Now what was the guy? Rex Brown. I'm not surprised that he was asking you for that. It's not uncommon if you're a musician that people think that you're always holding, right? So, but yeah, and when you roll into a new town like that, that's people will say, "Hey man, can you hook me up, bro? Hey bro, can you hook me up?" And maybe sometimes you do, maybe sometimes you don't. Ooh. You got to stay hydrated. I've been doing so much talking lately that it's like when I was singing all the time. People don't remember what a Stone Cold Killer Benson was. Only knew his pop stuff as a child. Before that period after he was a child singer and had singles, and then he just got in. He was like a jazz guitar player. Man, there is a treasure trove of stuff out there. Are you a fan of Osnoy? I am absolutely a fan of Osnoy. I hear a lot of that's the kind of playing that I kind of do. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Love it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Osnoy, and I can relate a lot to what he plays because he's rooted in blues and funk, but he plays some of the outside stuff. And if I were to play that type of music, that would be the direction. I would play with a Strat, and I'd get that squishy, tone, and that would be what that's a sound that I can really relate to. So yeah, I really like his playing. I relate to him more than I relate to Nashville players. Nashville players don't really understand what he's doing. Big P, Brad, have you seen the documentary Rumble? I have not seen that yet. I need to see that. Black Country Communion is cool. You ever heard of, dude, you just asked if I've heard of Hank Garland. Okay, well, you see that poster back there, that Elvis poster. So Hank Garland was an incredible guitar player and a Nashville session guy who could play jazz. Like, he's got a jazz album. It's old school jazz. I mean, it sounds like the time period. It's like 50s or something like that. But man, he's just some dude from Nashville. I've seen the Hank Garland movie. Yes, I have. Steve Vai produced that. But it's a tragic story. An incredible player. And man, as far as playing, see, Scotty Moore was Elvis's main guitar player in the 50s. But Scotty and Bill were getting screwed over by Colonel Tom Parker. Colonel Tom did not want to pay those guys nothing. I mean, they were making like $150 a week, playing with Elvis, right? And they're just like, man, this is not enough money, And so there was a time where they said, all right, we're out. Thank you, James. I think I have seen that, Dwayne. But Hank Garland played, I think it's I Need Your Love Tonight. I think there's a great Hank Garland guitar solo, I Need Your Love Tonight. Check that out. You want to hear some early rock and roll and a guy that can play jazz, but takes a rock and roll solo on a song. And I think Hank Garland also played on Little Sister, which was that signature be-do-do-do-do-do, which is the same bum, da-da-da, da-da-da, be-da-ba-da-do. It's the same as Back in Black. It's like the same kind of thing, having this repetitive lick going. Yeah, Hank is on Little Sister, and he's on some other stuff, some of the better guitar solos in Elvis's 50s stuff is Hank Garland. Some of that stuff right before he went into the service. Yes, Sugarfoot Rag was a song for him. Grady Martin is also a beast. Yes, indeed. They've had some great players. I think Hank Garland was something different because he could play jazz. He was not, Chet Atkins and George Benson, Dwayne was talking about. I think I have seen that clip. And that is very cool. Johnny Lang, yes, Johnny Lang is great. Charles, thank you so much. Thank you. And he's 667. Yes, indeed. Woo! Okay, let's see. Can I get that question? Why did you move to Florida and not some other state? All right, Charles, this is for you. The woo is for you. Woo! Mia just went woo in the other room. The reason why we came to Florida is my wife got a job opportunity here, which she just could not turn down. And, with all this corporate stuff that's going on, and she's in the corporate world, she just, she was either do that or lose her job. So as hard as it was for me to leave everything, we had to come down to Florida. So that's your answer. And yes, Jerry Reed, one of my favorites, dude. Amos Moses, right? Does everybody know Jerry Reed, Amos Moses? That's some Cajun swamp funk. That song is hilarious. I love the personality in his writing and his style. Has everybody heard the story about Jerry Reed and Elvis, and how Elvis was trying to cut Guitar Man, a song that Jerry Reed had written, Guitar Man, and Elvis was trying to cut it, and the guitar player on the session just wasn't getting it, and Elvis was like, man, the feel's not right. And they said, well, why don't you get the guy, why don't you get Jerry Reed in here? I said, well, where is he? So they had to track down Jerry Reed, and he was out on the river fishing on his boat. And they told him, Elvis needs you down in the studio right now. Get back. Bring the boat in. And he comes in, and the session guys have said, when we played a session for Elvis, we all had to dress because Elvis, he didn't want people looking like slouches, going in the studio, right? He wanted everybody to look sharp. And Jerry Reed came in his fishing gear with his fishing hat with the lures and stuff on. And you know what a character he was. And so that's the story of Jerry Reed coming in, smelling like fish lures and all that. And Roy Clark was a beast too. Yes, indeed. But Jerry Reed, basically, after Elvis had cut the song, then Colonel Tom Parker tried to come in and go, okay, now that if you want us to release this song, you're going to have to sign away your publishing. And Jerry Reed said, no, I am not going to sign over the publishing. And Elvis really likes this song. So you go in there and tell them that he can't put out this song because I won't sign away my publishing rights. And the colonel realized he called him on his game. And Elvis wanted to put that song out. I mean, it was a good song for Elvis. It was a good song for Jerry Reed. And so Jerry got the cut. He got Elvis's cut. And he didn't have to sign away his publishing. So, the trick was they asked him, before he said he signed it, he went in and tracked it. So Elvis had already tracked it. He knew it sounded good. It had Jerry Reed on the track. Elvis was happy with it. And then, nope, I'm not going to sign that. So that's smart thinking, right? Because that probably helped pay his bills for quite a while, getting a cut like that. If you're a songwriter, getting a cut from an Elvis, man, that's going to pay your house note for a long time. I need to hear that. I need to go deeper down the Jerry Reed. Yeah, that is a great story. Pulling him right out of his boat. And the rest of the guys were like, we're all dressed up, and he comes in his fishing gear. Co-wrote the Smokey and the Bandit soundtrack with Jerry. Wow. Dick said Jerry was the only person that could talk me. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. We're glad to have everybody here. We're having a good time. You're part of the story. If you are chatting on this channel, if you're contributing to this channel, you're helping keep it going. Good morning. Did you know that That's All Right, Mama is public domain? I did not. Are you sure, Azor? Can anybody back me up that That's All Right, Mama is now public domain? Now, I do know, who was it that wrote that? It was, I can't remember the name of the blues guy that wrote That's All Right, Mama. And, a lot of people talk about Elvis, biting people's style and all this stuff. But man, by Elvis cutting that song, that dude was able to buy a house. That dude was able to live off the royalties for That's All Right, Mama for the rest of his life. So, man, and even if you signed away your publishing, you still get your writer, Big Boy Arthur Crudup. That's right. That's exactly right. And, man, I did my research on that. And Arthur Crudup, yeah, he benefited greatly by having that song cut. I mean, if you're a songwriter, dude, you want somebody to cut your song. Even if you have to sell your publishing, you still get your writer's royalties. So that's just, part of it, man. On one hand, you go, that guy's cutting my song and he's getting a bigger hit out of it. But man, when those checks start coming in, you're like, keep cutting. You need anything else? You need any other songs, sir? It's just, man, I would love to have had somebody like that cut a song of mine. Chuck Berry got pulled over speeding. How fast was he going? Is the question now. The rainwater blowing up under his hood knew it was doing his motor good. Maybelline, why can't you be true? Right? Chuck Berry is one of the greatest writers of the whole because Elvis' catalog is in the public domain there. This means that anyone can legally reproduce the song in the UK. Okay. Well, that's quite possible. I don't know. Man, as we get older, more and more stuff from the past will go into public domain. But that doesn't mean that mass amounts of young people and people that it's not going to mean anything to a 10-year-old to play That's All Right Mama. Thanks to 60 English rock bands we know about, Robert Johnson, Albert King, Muddy Waters. Man, you know, the Foghat cover of Maybelline, I've never heard that. I did not know Foghat, but I love Foghat. So, My Ding-a-Ling, that was a cover song. Elvis did Bite Off the Style of a ex-girlfriend's of mine's dad, Roy Hamilton. You've never heard it? I've heard of Roy Hamilton. What songs is he known for? You know, a lot of the vocal style, Elvis got it, you know, but, you know, here's the thing, man. You still got to be able to sing. I can say, I'm gonna bite Steve Perry's style, but I still ain't gonna be able to sing it, you know. And that's kind of the reality. I mean, we all try to copy somebody, but ultimately, you still gotta be able to do it. And that's the hard thing. Now, Steve Perry, if you want to talk about somebody, I had a lawyer out in LA tell me this. He said, "Where do you think Steve Perry got his vocal style from?" I was like, "I don't know." And he said, "Sam Cooke." And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." Right? Those, you hear Steve Perry do those runs like that. So, okay, I have to check that out, Dwayne. So Steve Perry was biting Sam Cooke. And now that you've heard that, you've heard me say it, you hear it when he does his runs. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, and Steve Perry will do runs like that. And it makes complete sense. It makes complete sense. But, you know, you wouldn't think when you listen to Journey, you don't think of Sam Cooke. But now that you've heard me say that and you hear that line, you go, it is a lot of the improv, the in-between stuff on Steve Perry. It's just Sam Cooke stuff. Man, Sam Cooke was, you know, Muhammad Ali says the greatest singer in the world, you know? So, you know, there's that, right? There's that. Here's a toast to Sam Cooke. Amazing, amazing singer. I love Twisting the Night Away. That's the song I really like. That sounded like Leo Sayer. Well, Leo Sayer, I'm sure, listened to Sam Cooke a lot, too, because they got those records over there in England as well. So, but I cannot do Sam Cooke or Steve Perry or Leo Sayer any justice. I'm just trying to illustrate the phrasing. Sean Clush, I have not heard him. Sam Cooke is one of the best. Yeah, I definitely in that style. John Slitt told me Steve Perry could carry more emotion singing one line than any other singer could in an entire song. Steve Perry is one of the all-time greats. Certainly the power ballad, maybe the great of that, and certainly the range and stuff. But the road, I believe the road and the lifestyle did a number on his voice. Listen to him through the years. Listen to the gravel that started coming into his voice over the years. So, you know, that's why Steve doesn't want to come back, man. If he's getting royalties coming in from the songwriting and stuff, yes, Sam Cooke Live at the Copa is a great, oh wow, I did not know Bobby Womack is on that. I have listened to that album. That is a cool album. Love listening to those old, you know, periods of time live albums. You know, who would you say your voice is most like other than yourself? I'm a bass baritone. So, you know, I'm limited in what I can sing. But I, you know, it's like Elvis, but, I also did a lot of like funk. I used to sing, in funk bands and stuff. I'd, occasionally sing a tune or not. And so I would have a gravelier voice then because I was partying a lot. So my voice has changed a lot over the years. And I used to really listen to Prince a lot. And I used to have a really good high falsetto, but that's all gone. That's all gone now with time. So, can you do Morrison? Yep, that's now. See, Morrison is a crooner. Elvis is a crooner. Those are not tenors. Yeah, I can do rumors spread round, and that takes his time. I can do all that low stuff. So anything, the bass singers in bands, I always love. Look, especially for the old timers, I would always sing the bass parts. And let me think of what's one famous bass singer line. Sha-na-na, yes. Yip, 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 yo. I can sing all that low stuff. So when you do those gigs and you hit those low notes, people key into that. It's like they key into the high notes, the guys hitting the high notes, and they'll key into it's almost like you see the smile on their face when they hear the bass baritone. So yeah, I like singing bass. It's cool. I wish I'd had a tenor voice, but you know what? People enjoy a bass. They like that low voice, and it's funny because you wouldn't necessarily expect me to sound that deep. John Bowman, yes indeed. Ah, that's delicious. It's so good to hang out and talk music, right? I'm coming out of the screen. I'm coming to join you guys. Oak Ridge Boys, famous bass line. Yeah. Bapa, mow, mow. I could do all that stuff. I should have tried to be a bass singer in one of those country bands. Good low note singer helps a lot to get some gigs as a guitar player. Already happened to me. Yeah, I mean, Chris, thank you for being here, brother. Did I like Kiss? The band Kiss? Yeah, I think, Kiss. I had a lot of friends as a kid that liked Kiss, and I'd go over to their house and they put the records on and stuff. It wasn't like my favorite band of all time, but I did like Ace Frehley. I liked the Space Ace kind of theme. And man, if you think about the marketing and building their brand that band did, it's ingenious. And it seems like any band that comes up now, yes, I can sing Steelheart. Yes, every note. No, I cannot. The things that Kiss did is ingenious. And any band now that comes out with makeup and, some kind of, stuff, it just seems like they're just doing Kiss, whether it's, even Slipknot to me, it's like, Earl, thank you for joining us, brother. Thank you. This is an impromptu event. So we've just been flowing and going. Kiss of genius. Yeah, they're geniuses of marketing. And you got to appreciate that. And I don't know how you could ever top what they did. I don't know how you can ever create something that big. Carol Kay giving Gene Simmons a bass lesson. Yes, I have seen the video and it's pretty cool. Because let's face it, man, Carol Kay was a monster of her time, and she could probably teach Gene Simmons, for a few years. Back then, man, people played bass, right? You had to play bass because James Jamerson was on the scene, and he's writing by playing his bass lines. He is composing these complex musical compositions. It's the movement, and all that. What's up, Grigori? Grigori, how you doing, brother? Rasputin, glad to have you. Wichita, I didn't know I need to dig deep. I didn't know that Carol Kay played on Wichita Alignment, but that is a great song. Lena Horne was incredible. Yes, she was. Remember Gary Thane? I can't remember who that is. Remind me. We're just having free flowing, caffeinated talk. If you're contributing, oh, Uriah Heep. Okay. Yes, Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart is another guy that copped Sam Cooke. Except Rod had the raspel. Rod didn't sing correctly, and that's why he's got that raspy edge to his straining type sound. That's from years of singing in pubs and not singing correctly. And it's amazing that he's even able to talk, let alone still play some gigs and sing. But I saw him before COVID. I'd never gone to a Rod Stewart concert, and it was a good show. It was actually a well-produced spectacle show with the guitar players all had matching jackets, and they had these, background singers with their, these blondes, and it was a whole thing. Like from one of your playing clips. Thank you, sir. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Yeah, Hinder, yeah, that he's got a natural gravel, and I guess vocal teachers call that distortion now. I was always told when I was taking vocal lessons as a kid with my, 70-year-old opera chick, she didn't want any distortion in the voice. She just wanted a clear, pure tone, and we never once sang a song. It was just stand in the corner, do this, and sing scales. Just singing scales. Marvin Gaye, yes. Who is it? Who plays on that? Top Shelf. Did they jump like the flames? I do not know, Mike. I cannot answer that question. We've got 62 people in there. Let's get the thumbs up. Oh, you saw Faces with Ron Wood in Syracuse. And Feet Open, Albert Lee on guitar. Wow. That's amazing, man. I wish I'd have seen any stories about the Eagles. Whew. I did see Joe Walsh one time. I went to it wasn't the NAMM show, but it was like the LA Guitar Show or something. Mickey, what's happening, brother? And Joe Walsh was hired to play this guitar fest or whatever, a guitar trade show. And this trade show was not well attended, but I saw Foley from Miles Davis Band. I saw him. I saw Neil Sean just in a room, and it was exactly how when you see him on Instagram and stuff now, he's just, he has that style where he hits a note and then he hits a note and he's got his own shred style that he does, and he was playing exactly the same then. And then the concert for the end of this big thing, we saw Billy Sheehan was there. The end concert was Joe Walsh, and he had his guy Rick, the bass player, who was this kind of famous bass player that played with a lot of those 70s acts. And it was not many people there. It was the end of the day. We'd been there all day, walking around, looking at whatever booths we could do. And Joe Walsh got up there, and he was pretty, let's just say, a little tipsy at the time. Do you own a guitar you can play Michael Angelo on? I do not have a quadruple neck guitar. Brad, thanks for correcting me on that. That's all right, Mom. As it appears, it's a gray area related to UK 50-year copyright. Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't copyright laws and all that. That stuff all goes over my head after a while. I can't. Michael Angelo, yeah. Michael Angelo Badio. Yes, indeed. I wasn't a huge fan of Michelangelo Badio. Of course, he's guy's got technique out the wazoo, but it didn't. Speed for the sake of speed, it never really hit me where I wanted to be hit. I would like Yngwie more than a Michelangelo, because Yngwie still will hit a note with that vibrato, and just there's something about that. It was the James Burton fundraiser in Nashville a few years ago where I got to see Joe Walsh Okay, with Brian May. Awesome. Yeah. Well, Joe Walsh is a different guy than he was when I saw it, but that's the closest I can get for a. Saw Eagles open for Stones with Jackson Brown playing with the Eagles. Wow, that's very cool. You ever heard of Chips Mormon? Yeah, Chips Mormon, right? I have heard of him. I have heard of him. Vinnie Vincent seemed Speed for the Sake of Speed back in the day. Dwayne, I got a good story for you. So he just mentioned Vinnie Vincent, right? And I remember being out in LA, and at one time, I think one of the management companies had taken an interest in my band. And at the time we were a three-piece, but I had like 100 songs. We had all our songs on this chalkboard, and we could run every song. We had a lot of material stockpile, but we really needed a singer, you know? And so I think his name was Todd Cooper, and I think his dad's name was Bob Cooper, but he was either with Q Prime or Creative Artist Agency. It was one of those management companies. And he was going to start working with us, and he started suggesting some singers. He was even going to try to get the guy from Little Caesar to come and sing with us. I mean, he sent a few guys down. And we had a very diverse, we were playing the Sunset Strip, but we had a very diverse songs. We had our typical rock songs, but man, I had songs that were just straight up like jazz ballads. I had all this different type of material, you know, stuff with you know, major 7 chords and all that. But somehow, when we were talking to this manager guy, he mentioned, oh, I worked with Vinnie Vincent. And I said, dude, I said, when boys want to rock or whatever that song is, Vinnie Vincent came out. I said, I saw it on MTV, and I immediately got on my bike and I rode my bike 2 or 3 miles down the street to buy that album. I didn't know it was going to be in the stores, but I'm like, I have to. What is this guy doing? I'm hearing this guitar playing, and it's like, I mean, it's just supersonic speed, notes that aren't even on the guitar. But I didn't know because I'm just a kid, you know? So I rode my bike all the way down. I bought the Vinnie Vincent Invasion album. And, you know, and it was just the thing. And I hipped Reggie Wooten to Vinnie Vincent Invasion. And he was all about it too, because we just see this guy and he's taking the microphone and, you know, doing, it's the most over the top music video ever created. And if you're a teenage boy, you're gonna be like, this is incredible. But Todd told me, I said, dude, that when I saw that, I immediately ran to the guitar store. I mean, the music store, and bought that album. He goes, that's exactly what we wanted to do. He said, we sped up the guitar solos like twice as fast, you know, with the tape. Back then it would be with tape. So they must have recorded them at half speed and then tracked at half speed, and he just ripped. And then they put it on at full speed, and you've got these solos where the notes are super fast. He's hitting, you know, notes, he's hitting harmonics that, you know, they don't even exist on the guitar. And that is how they tricked me, and I'm sure a bunch of other people, into buying that album. So, yeah, Pete used to cheat on vocals like that. Man, we used to do all kinds of things. I noticed when I had my 4-track, if I felt my vocal was a little flat, just speeding up the tape a little bit, you could either track it with it lower and then speed it back up, or just if the song is lagging a little bit, just bring the speed a little bit up. I mean, there's a lot of things. Blending vocals. Back in the day, they would blend other vocalists. You know, somebody like a Paula Abdul. Who do you think is a good rhythm guitarist? Obviously, Paul Jackson Jr. is a great rhythm guitarist that can do a lot more than that. Malcolm Young is a great rhythm guitarist. Keith Richards is a great rhythm guitarist. Prince is a great rhythm guitarist. George Young, obviously, because he's having to play Malcolm's parts. There's a lot of different rhythm guitarists. Who's the guy that played on the Benson album? What was the guy's name that played guitar next to Benson back in the day? It wasn't Earl Clue, it was another jazz player. And that guy is great. So there's a lot of guys that are great. So, yep. Rhythm guitar is probably more important. Phil Upchurch, that's it. Phil Upchurch is great. And let me tell you something. I was on the tour bus one night, and I was listening to George Benson. Sitting in my bunk, and I got George, and I listened to Weekend in L.A. Great George Benson album, recorded at the Roxy on the Sunset Strip. And I'm listening to that album, and I'm just like, man, this album sounds so good. These guys are live. This is incredible, right? And so I looked up Phil Upchurch. I found his website. He had an email link, and I emailed Phil Upchurch, and I just sent him an email. I said, man, I'm listening to you right now on Weekend in LA, and all your background work on guitar on that album is just incredible. And I just wanted to say, man, thanks for the music, and thank you. And man, don't you know, he was so cool. He wrote me back and said, thank you very much, sir. Best to you, or something like that. But man, that's what it's all about, dude. He had his time in the music business, and I think he probably left LA and went on to do other things. So used to play 33 1/3 records at half speed to learn parts. That's what we had to do back in the day. Now with YouTube, you got this half speed stuff. So you could slow stuff down and it stays at pitch. Man, forget about it, dude. Kids got it easy. I never could really figure out anything note for note. Brad, my girlfriend enjoys listening to your show. Thank you. She finds we are listening while cooking and eating breakfast. Thank you so much. Jesse Johnson, dude. Dwayne, the first Jesse Johnson review album, that is a killer. That is a killer Prince Minneapolis style R&B album. And I love Jesse Johnson. Man, he is a cool dude, bad dude. That's if you like Minneapolis sound and you like that style funk with the kind of distorted guitar solos over R&B type tunes, and funky guitars, Prince kind of style stuff. The Jesse Johnson review, I can't remember the name of that album, but I Want to Be Your Man or something. I can't remember what that was called, but yeah, that was that I love Jesse Johnson. Yeah, that dude's bad. And to be able to do those dance steps and play those parts at the same time, that is incredible. Do you have a favorite acoustic guitar? Fingers few, I do not. I have really only one really good acoustic. You could argue that my grandfather's guitar is somewhere here, and that guitar is from like the 30s or something like that. So you could say that would be my favorite, but it's never in playing condition, no matter what I do to it. I'm not an acoustic player by any stretch of the imagination. If the morning crowd is a breakfast club, this is the lunch bunch. Gotta get that lunch, boom, bunch, get that lunch, bunch. We got the lunch, boom, bunch, right? That's my new jam. I just copyrighted that, guys. Don't run off with that one. Thank you. Yeah, Eddie Van Halen was a great rhythm guitar player. Absolutely. He had to be, because he had to, I've seen many interviews personally. I don't know if he's said this in public, and I know Billy Sheehan has alluded to the fact that he was asked to join Van Halen. The fact of the matter, he was. And I have seen Billy Sheehan in a clinic at GIT tell the story, the reason why he was asked to join Van Halen is because between Alex and Michael Anthony, he was having trouble telling where the one was. There was something going on live. Now, granted, they're drinking, they're playing in arenas. You know, it's hard knowing where one is when you're echoing, bouncing off the back walls. But supposedly, that is why Billy Sheehan was asked to join Van Halen. So, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, Eddie Van Halen was very locked into the rhythm. One thing about whether it's Zeppelin or Van Halen, you know, normally in a traditional band, the bass player is by the hi-hat. But in a lot of hard rock bands, it'd be the guitar player next to the hi-hat and the bass player on the other side. Now, I don't know, you know, why that happened, but, you know, that style of rock where the guitar is the focal point, it's almost like the guitar was kind of more the foundation than the bass. Now, later, when the 90s came about, bass got the 5 strings and bass players really advanced in their technique, then bass kind of took over. It seemed like the 90s, it was like almost the decade of bass. But the 80s and 70s, you know, it was largely guitar driven. There you go. Bass driven music. I mean, it has its appeal, and I certainly love a good bass player, but I'm a guitar player that, you know, drummers are my thing. And that's why my first interview for my channel, I interviewed a drummer, because drummers are my jam, right? If I got a good drummer, man, I can conquer the world. If I got a good beat, you know, the bass player, you know, in the 80s was usually the guy in the band that, you know, you just kind of told him what to play. Here, dude, play these notes. A lot of times we would call it dumb guy. He'd go, well, what do I play on this? I go, just do dumb guy. We would call it dumb guy because you go dumb guy, dumb guy, dumb guy, dumb guy. Just 8 notes, right? So if we were just we're working on a riff, and he's like, I don't know what to play in this. Just play dumb guy, and we'll get back to you. We'll figure out what you're going to do later. So just hold. Another buddy used to tell me, thump the root. He'd tell his brother, who was a bass player, he goes, thump the root or get the boot. I always thought that was funny. You know, tell that to a bass player. He's liable to throw his bass at you, right? Oh, yeah. Still got a little bit of Red Bull going. Man, if you like bands with heavy bass, Art Neville's Dumpster Funk. Man, I need to check that out. I certainly heard of Dumpster Funk. I didn't know they had 2 bass players. The one time that I saw Little Richard live, he had 2 bass players. And man, it was awesome. I'd never seen that before. I'm like, how do you do that? How do you have 2 bass players? But man, everybody's stepping in the band, everybody's moving. Man, that was one of the greatest moments of my life, is being pretty close to the stage. And I got one of his Jehovah's Witnesses books. They were handing them out in the crowd. I don't know where that is now. I think I probably lost it. But seeing Little Richard in our dressing room, we were playing the same show, and our dressing room was right next to Little Richard, right? And I remember he had all his crew, you know, they're all sharp dressed and wearing their suits. And when the guy comes out, we're standing outside our dressing room, and he goes, we got an emergency. Little Richard needs an iron. So, you know, Little Richard was not going to go out there with a wrinkled suit on. Let me tell you something. That's an emergency. We got to get an iron. So we have an emergency. Little Richard needs an iron. So that was one of those things. Like, we played very early in the day. It was a big festival of oldies acts. Little Richard was the headliner. And so we played our show at noon, and we were done. And then we got to just hang out all day and drink beer in our dressing room. And then they brought back some sandwiches or whatever. So we'd eat a couple sandwiches, and we'd go back out, have some more beers. And by the time Little Richard came out, you know, we were feeling no pain. And man, that was awesome. Yeah, the big toes shoot up in your boot. I missed the Sunset Strip heyday, but I was there somewhat frequently in the late 90s, especially the Rainbow. The vibe was cool, but I'm sure it wasn't like it used to be. I tell you what, I mean, I was there up until about 1994. And man, the vibe was still pretty much the same, especially inside the Rainbow. The street that used to be packed with people, you know, they were cracking down on that. But the Rainbow was, you know, as long as I was there, man, it was always still pretty much kicking. And I think still to this day, if you go there on a Friday or Saturday, that place is still going to be rocking. But it's almost like, you know, it's almost like a freak show now. Seeing people dressed like it's 1980, you know, 6, and they're at the Rainbow, you know, looking like that. It's a little bit crazy, you know, seeing that again. But what we're going to do is we're going to give you another woo. Are y'all ready for another woo? Can we get a hell yeah on this Monday morning? Y'all ready for a woo? We're going to woo. Can you woo, woo, woo? With Jeffrey Osborne for you. Woo! We're having a good time. We're in overtime here. It's 71 minutes. Yes, indeed, Grigori. Thank you so much, sir, for tuning in. Where are you at, Grigori? Amos. Yes, indeed. Thank you, sir. Nothing but a good time. Indeed. Indeedy do. Toro, more Red Bull. Haha. Yeah, I think I'm one and done today. Speaking of Living Color, if that opening very riff on... Yeah, that is a monster riff. The Living Color... and I saw them, dude. I saw them open for Extreme just recently at the Ryman. Man, Living Color is a tough act to follow, dude. The singer he's kind of delivering these days like he's a comic, you know, with his head tilted this way and the mic kind of going this way, and almost like he's kind of going through the motions. But dude, he was singing his you-know-what off. He was hitting stratospheric notes with no effort. Yeah, you saw it. So Sudama Trezon saw it. And man, Living Color, I mean, as a group with, you know, the drummer is a monster, the bass player's a monster, and Vernon's, you know, playing his butt off, and the singer's just kind of, but just hitting notes in the stratosphere. Man, it almost seemed a little anticlimactic when Extreme came on. Now, I like Extreme a lot, but I could tell the singer for Extreme was saving his voice. You know when a singer is holding the mic out to the crowd, when he's just doing just enough to get through a show. And the singer for Living Color was just like hitting, almost like putting on a clinic. Wow. Very cool, Mike. Yeah, I think they're a great band, man. Have you ever figured out how I got the profile name Sudama Trezon? Yes, it's Amadeus Mozart. Yes, sir. I have a DVD of Living Color on that Experience Hendrix tour doing Crosstown Traffic. I bet that is good. They are a great band, man. Very underrated. Even with all their success and the stuff they've done, very underrated. Andy Summers was a rhythm master. Yep. Now that's one I didn't think about. I love Andy Summers and what he did. He had his own, came up with his own thing. He brought some voicings, the whole 9 thing. You know, you guys know this, right? Let's see. You know, the whole thing with Andy Summers and, you know, playing that stuff, man. He brought that whole vocabulary, and so that's his own thing, man. Now I see guys playing those voices. It's like if you don't know any, cool voicings. I'll see guys play stuff like that. It's a cool thing, man. It's really cool. All right, we're at 75 minutes. I don't know how much longer we can continue. I gotta make sure my wig is dialed and styled. Here, let's do the. Now, if we had a gig tonight, and if I was having to get on the trail, I could do this, and I'd almost be ready for the Sunset Strip, right? See? Dialed and styled, bro. Yeah, Nile Rodgers. Someone just asked Elliot Easton or Andy Summers. I would go for, if I needed a guitar solo, I'd go for Elliot Easton. If I needed a rhythm guitar part, I would go for Andy Summers. And if I had both of them, I could do it all. Thank you, Sudama. Thank you, sir, for dropping in. We got 63 people in here, so that means 2 people got to hit that like button. And we're having an epic time here, Labor Day Live. Thank you, James. Driving the trolls crazy. Dude, I had a troll this morning. And, and he was... he was insinuating that some, beginning guitar player that's getting all this hype is better than me and all this kind of stuff. And first of all, man, that stuff is all subjective. But, this is a guy that has one video on YouTube and he's beginner at best. And he's, saying this stuff and people don't realize. So I have a video where I talk about a guitar player out of Nashville that's just getting insane amounts of hype. It's the next greatest thing. People Magazine, all this stuff. And dude, they're a fine player, but they're just starting out. They're not ready for all these accolades. And this person is ragging on hair metal guitar players and saying, this and that and it's so ridiculous. But my commentary is not so much about the player and the ability, but the music business and the hype machine. And the hype machine is through the roof on this person. And, I just... they think that I'm talking about the person, but really the video is more about the machine and how the machine will put this person in the feedback loop and promote them. And they're not ready. They're not ready yet. And, the April Fool's about the wig. Well, I think my wig is looking sharp today. I think the wig is really... dude, the thing about my hair, dude, if I was on a tour bus and it was growing out, dude, it would be this friggin' wild, man. It looked like a caveman. Did you ever hand every cramp during a live show? What did you do? I have had hand cramps. Sometimes it's trying to play a guitar that I'm not used to, and your hand will, will cramp up. Sometimes I'll switch to a different guitar if I feel like, oh man, I'm not used to playing this, and I'll switch to a different guitar. Or sometimes you've got this muscle right here. You've also got this muscle right here in your hand. Now, I am not a doctor, right? But I have been told, I have friends that are older and have arthritis in their hands and stuff like that. And you've got to keep these muscles loose in your hands. So I will, on the way to the gig, I will press my hand into the steering wheel to loosen these muscles up. And, I will do those things to keep the hands loose. But, sometimes you've got to adjust your playing and your technique to, to be able to keep going. Still carting around LPs and CDs. What is this? Music from you. Live streams often seems disappointing. Not sure if remastering disappoints. Yeah, younger ears, it's all a factor. You look very good for your age, still got all your hair and all your teeth. Well, I don't have all the teeth, but I got enough teeth that nobody notices. Okay? I call it the thumb killer. Yeah. I mean, dude, right in here, this muscle in between here is important, and this one. These are that kind of where you get the lock up. And I tell you what doesn't help is video games. I like to play Madden. And when COVID hit and I'm stuck in the house, I was playing Madden like crazy, right? And man, it did not help. I was starting to get pain in here because it was like the only, outside interaction I had was trying to kick people's butts in Madden, right? And that did not do good on my hands. So I had to kind of lay off it a little bit and, work on my hands a little bit. But, one of the things that Reggie Wooten, the guitar player, the Wooten brothers, Victor Wooten's brother, he taught me this martial arts exercise when I was young. And to strengthen this part of the arm, right? There's an exercise where you put your hand out, right? Straight. And then you open and close your hand as fast as you can. And you will feel that. You will feel that in this muscle, right? And that will build up the strength in this. And it's like a way to warm up your hands. And that's like a kung fu, some kind of kung fu warm up or something like that. But that was something I used to do when I was young, is just, build up the strength in this. Because you know what, playing guitar takes a lot of muscles, man. It's a physical thing, man, and it takes a lot to be able to do that. Now let me see if I can get the family in here for a cameo towards the end of the event. Hold on one second. Hey guys, you want to come make a cameo?
What?
Come make a cameo.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes. I think we're going to close out. Today. We're going to have the wife and Mia and the wife are going to come say hi, and then we're going to close it out for the day. We've been on for 82 minutes. Everybody go check out the interview with Roger Carter on my channel. Here is little Mia. She just got back from the playground. And here's my wife.
Hi.
Funny, it's alright. A BB, out, yeah. Rock you.
What is she singing?
She's singing "Rock You Up" by the Romantics.
Rock you.
So if you know that song, everybody say hi. We're gonna wrap it up. Thank you to everybody. The super thanks. The super chat thanks. Thank you to everybody that contributed today. Sing your song, Mia.
She's got to save the energy for the foam party today.
We're supposedly going to a foam party later today at the pool. So we'll see. All right. Everybody have a good Labor Day. We love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for the Breakfast Club. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much. Bye.